All right, welcome to the finals.
Hello again.
This is the final. This is Azhawa. Is it Azhawa?
I've always said Azhawa, but I don't know.
Azhawa. Let us know.
I don't know how many Z's are in French language. I don't know, maybe a lot. But
And this is the final. We just casted an Azhawa game with Noah and me yesterday or whatever.
oh yeah, yep.
That was recently.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty fat draft.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely stacked draft.
I'm a real sucker for planning drafts. That's it's one of my favorite things to do, and I if anything, I think I put an importance on it almost equal to playing the game. And this one, I think I spent over 24 hours thinking about. It's just there's so many options here. I guess we can just start going over them. Obviously, you see 3 of the best units in the game. I'd say the 3 like tier S units.
5 of them.
Berserker, Warrior Priest, Bannerman, all premium top picks.
Mercenary, Earl, also top picks.
Yeah, so I was just going to say Mercenary, always very good pick. You have Earl with Redeploy, which makes it very, very strong.
Redeploy Earl.
You also have Scout Redeploy, which that's one of my favorite combo. I actually prefer that to Earl Redeploy. I think Scout Redeploy is one of the strongest things.
And Herald is there.
And Herald just sitting there.
Just to hang out. Because, the Earl and Herald together is really busted. Really good. And Reinforce is an interesting...
For Mercenary. And for Berserk. I mean, there's a lot of good things to Reinforce.
There's a lot of, with all
obviously
these top-tier units.
With Merc, it's a very good combo.
Yeah, man. This is really good.
Yeah, so one of the things... I mean, honestly, I was thinking about doing a million different things here.
This is when I said ban Archer.
Yeah. This could have banning a rag here is a very
because Mitch is picking first. So this I talked about this in a different video, but Mitch is picking first, and Archer, if everybody plays by the rules, is a last pick.
Yep.
So he'll get stuck with it.
Yeah.
So it's like every other unit is good.
Yeah.
Right. There's not a single ban. I mean, Ensign's the worst unit here. You ban Archer, and then you'll guarantee to get a bunch of good stuff, but not Archer. Maybe the difference between Archer and the second worst unit is greater than the best unit and the second best unit.
Yeah.
But you did not ban Archer.
I did not. So
I did throw that out there.
I explored just going through my brain, racking different possibilities. I thought of a lot of things. The things that were really scaring me here are Earl, Herald, Mercenary, and Scout, all potentially very fast units and can be comboed together very, very well.
Earl, Herald, Mercenary, and Scout are all fast units.
Very, very fast units. I don't want to play a Berserker against something like an Earl Mercenary. Even Mercenary Scout scares me, especially with Redeploy. Earl Herald would never want to do that. Like, the speed of this draft is what worried me the most, looking at it.
We didn't even talk about Ensign and the synergy with Berserker and Bannerman.
Yeah, it's a draft where just everything is flowing. I was thinking at one point that I was going to leave potentially Warrior Priest and Bannerman to try to go real fast. So let's start trying to think about possible things here. If I were to ban, let's say, Berserker, common first pick or common first ban. All right, sorry, Berserker.
Oops, he's green.
So that leaves us with maybe the next best units here being Warrior Priest, Bannerman, right?
Sure.
I would expect in that situation for him to not ban one of Warrior Priest or Bannerman.
He'll ban Mercenary.
And so he can get one of the two.
Yep.
And then I was thinking, okay, if he does that, maybe I take Earl. And then he's going to take at least one of Warrior Priest, Bannerman, maybe both. And then that leaves me with Herald Scout. Mm-hmm. There's so many ways I was thinking of potentially playing this draft.
That would be really a good team.
Yeah, I mean, that's so fast.
You get a lot of redeploy synergy.
But then I thought that's just too strong. Obviously having Berserker would be incredible with Ensign, but I think this draft was too fast. So I decided to try to get Bannerman. That was what I wanted to have.
You wanted it.
I wanted to have Bannerman.
So you're going to ban...
I would love to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, you want Bannerman, so you want him not to ban Bannerman, so you're trying to ban Earl then, right? You want to break up the Earl-Herald combo so you can take Bannerman and not get completely dumpstered by that. And then he would have to ban Berserker, I guess, and let you have Bannerman. Well, no, Because if you get Bannerman, he'd want to have Berserker. Why would he not ban Bannerman, I guess?
Why would he not ban Bannerman?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a couple situations where he wouldn't ban Bannerman.
All right, set it up for me.
So, let's say I leave Zerk open, or I ban Zerk, like I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
If he bans Bannerman, I get War Priest.
Okay.
Or another situation like that, if I ban something like Earl or Herald or Mercenary or one of the faster units, and he's comfortable banning Berserker, I'm left with a Bannerman versus Warrior Priest. I'm very comfortable playing Bannerman against War Priest. Very, very comfortable.
Bannerman against Warrior Priest.
That was the matchup I wanted to set up.
Okay.
Because it's just so hard. He'd have to get in a situation where I didn't have a Bannerman in my hand and take initiative and grind me down on a small big Warrior Priest, which is possible. But if you're playing it smart, you don't you can always just back away when he has the initiative take.
Man.
So I wanted to try to set up a situation where it's Bannerman versus War Priest, and then I could fill out the rest.
Well, Jesus, what do you ban?
I'm pretty sure I banned Earl. I gotta remember now.
Hey, that's what I said.
Yeah, I agree with you there because I did not want to risk him getting Earl Herald. I thought that was an auto loss for me.
So now he's like, okay, what do I want my opponent to have?
Yeah, so I will say here, I feel bad for Azhawa. We chatted a little bit before the game even started about how difficult this draft was.
It is difficult.
It's very, very difficult. He has to give me a good unit. We're both going to be playing with several top units in our hands, but he has to make a real difficult decision here.
You really got to play it out. Like you know, Mitch will take one, and then you'll take two. So it's you have to plan all of them out. Like if Mitch takes Bannerman, then what do I take?
Yeah.
If Mitch takes Berserker, what do I take? I mean,
I love hearing your thoughts.
I'm just thinking like Berserker counters Bannerman and Warrior Priest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's the best counter to these units here.
That's again why it's such a difficult choice, because Berserker is the ultimate counter to all this, but there's also enough speed where it could be countered.
If I was Azhawa, I'd just ban Bannerman. God damn it. That's what I would do. I don't know. Bans Berserker. So Bannerman looks pretty clean here. So you take Bannerman.
I take Bannerman, and I'm thrilled about it.
Yeah, and now he takes... I mean, it's still tough. He'll take Warrior Priest... Warrior Priest... Mercenary, I guess?
That's what I expected.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled to get Scout redeploy. I'm thrilled to get Herald.
Yeah. He gets Archer. Takes Archer.
Which actually matters in this game. And I'm sorry for looking over here. I'm trying to find something.
What are you trying to find?
I was talking about this draft, and I was thrilled because it went the exact way that I wanted. So here I have this text from before it started, and I said, don't want to get rushed down. I think I ban Earl. Azhawa bans Zerk. I take Bannerman. He goes Merc plus Warrior Priest. I take Scout Herald. He goes... I thought Sword Ensign. I get Archer. So it was everything except for he picked Archer.
Take the screenshot of this.
I will.
Send it over. We'll put it on the screen so people can see it.
With the timestamp, so you know I'm not lying about it. So he's got to deal with the kids. I just sent it to him. So as I talk about how much I value draft, I'm not trying to say I'm some savant. But what you want to create with a draft and why it's so important is because you are trying to have the entire narrative of how the whole draft goes and then how you're playing that game out before you even start the draft. And obviously there are too many variables where you can plan it exactly. But I was able to, in a very, very difficult draft for both sides, but especially for Azhawa, they were in a very difficult position. I was able to have the draft go exactly like I wanted it. And I got the units that I wanted to play against the units that I thought he would have. So at the start of this, I already feel very, very confident going into this. And I can't speak entirely for him, but I think that Azhawa felt like they were in a tough situation from the beginning. As I talked about, I want to make sure, now that I'm starting this game, that I'm getting Bannermen on the side of War Priest. This is very important. We talk about we're done with the draft. We have our units. You can't just start playing the game without a plan. I want to have Bannermen against the side of War Priest no matter what.
Okay.
I was just talking about my plan here. But yeah, I sent you the screenshot so you can tell I'm not lying.
Perfect. No, I was just saying it was fun to have a little multimedia there. Like,
yeah,
here's Mitch predicting the draft, and it happened exactly as predicted. That's skill.
Well,
skill.
I was saying, I told him, like, it doesn't. I'm not saying, that shows how incredibly good I am at this game, but for me, it shows the importance of draft planning, because I literally thought about that for over 24 hours before I made my choice, and when I made the choice, I was able to get the exact matchup that I wanted.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I wonder. I mean, is this the best? Right? Like, could it have gone a different way? And you still would have ended up with a good team.
There's so many ways it could have gone. I guess I'm not saying this was necessarily the best. I'm saying this is the game I wanted to play right here. Mm-hmm. After I looked at the draft and knowing all the units and the possible ways it could unfold, this is what I thought.
It's right in your hands.
This is what I wanted to play. That's all I'm saying.
Played right into it. That's why I like the idea of, well, if there was like a seed and you can play the same draft over and over again.
Oh yeah,
it'd be fun to. I mean, Noah's idea.
You can do that on War Chest Online.
Yeah,
because you can pick a unit pool.
Noah's idea of like a league game where you always play games in pairs. So you play the same draft, but you alternate who drafts first.
Yeah.
So the same unit choice. It'd be fun to see this same draft, but like in different configurations. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so you got a messy hand here.
I do.
This is unfortunate having a messy hand in this like very pressurized. But you got the Herald. It keeps it.
You can escape with Herald if you need.
The Herald hedges against that, and you got Herald Spy, which we talked about last game. Yep. Great about Spy is you can easily use it.
Yeah. So let's jump in.
So you'll play the Herald. This is a tense.
The last thing that I was saying before you got down here that you probably overheard. The one thing that I know I need to do is to have Bannerman on the side of War Priest. It just has to happen.
Oh, he's spying you.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Interesting choice, right? I mean,
yeah.
We've talked about. I saw in one of the videos that would Noah that Spy is usually best early on when you can handicap someone.
That's what Noah said. I don't agree with that necessarily.
I wasn't fully agreeing in that either. I mean, it is true that when you have small bag, it's completely useless.
Right.
But there are several. I mean, even the last game we just did against Lasticott, I was able to spy an archer out of his hand
at a key moment.
I mean, I think spy is useful throughout the game. Maybe worst, very very late game, but maybe not best early. It's a guess. You're just guessing what they have, so it could just be a swing and a miss. But it can do a lot if you hit. Mm-hmm. I'm also guessing that he didn't have a great hand here.
Right. We had coin in it, and then
sorry, I should say they. I do not know the gender of Azhawa.
Yeah, Azhawa. It's a girl icon.
Yeah,
so.
But I don't know. I mean, there's also a girl in my icon. I have 3.
Your icon doesn't? Can't tell what it is, though.
You know what it is, though.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
So all in, Warrior Priest early. Oh, deployed nothing. So I would say then did not have a Warrior Priest in hand.
I mean, I would guess something like Archer, Coin, Ensign. Got to be, right? I mean, that's what I'm expecting.
It has to be exactly
that's what I expect. I never looked at how...
Because Mercenary can get off the point right away.
So that's what I'm thinking. Probably Archer, Ensign, Coin.
Wow,
the worst possible start they could have gotten.
Yeah. I like what you have here.
Yeah, I mean, everything's unfolding perfectly for me.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
So he's got the War Priest down, as I told everyone before. Got to have that Bannerman to fight the War Priest. I feel completely comfortable going up against that. Mm-hmm. What I didn't want was to have Bannerman too involved with Merc, because Merc can recruit several times when you don't expect it. Get in there, getting a little juicy.
Mm-hmm.
So already,
Archer is a good unit against Bannerman-ish,
and you will find that it is played.
Yeah.
So we talked about there's fast units in this draft. I got 2 of the fast units in Herald and Scout, and he got Mercenary, or they got Mercenary. With the bad start that Azhawa had with their hand and not being able to take the risk of getting blocked up, I'm already putting a lot of pressure on here. I have a point taken. Azhawa does not. I am going to have, as we see here playing through, got my Bannerman out where I want it. They get the Archer down. And as Alex just said, this is a little problematic for me. Archer, especially with a War Priest in the middle, can cause some damage. I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for me to approach that if he does it correctly. But Archer can also be toyed with Bannerman, because you can make sure to keep it by yourself. You can pin it against the borders of the map, and I can, as you'll see, a lot of times I'll be able to have a situation where I move towards Archer and push War Priest away, and Archer isn't really able to do much. But it causes a lot of it makes situations to think about. Let's put it that way. So with the coin here, understandably, I recruit heavier into Bannerman. He drops down the ensign. Or they drop down the ensign. I gotta stop doing that. So I go for a spy here. I was just trying to get rid of a War Priest, slow him down, which worked. I got that hit. That's, obviously one of the units that trying to get forward, trying to mess me up with. So I got rid of that. Got the Herald on the point. It's possible, that there's a bolster move with bolster mercenary recruit that puts me under a lot of pressure here. I could bolster to prevent the death. I thought that Azhawa was not going to want to recruit too heavily into mercenary and keep it small bag warrior priest, so I was willing to kind of take this risk with hanging it out there, knowing that you don't want to dilute the bag too much. I'll let you resume.
Yeah, I see some trouble with this mercenary attack here. Huh?
Yeah, it's threatening, and that's why mercenary is so good. You don't need to go into it to have the threat there. But like I said, I felt like Azhawa was going to try and keep it small bag warrior priest, so I was willing to take that risk by putting it out there.
Right, yeah, because if he recruits him, then he dilutes his bag and he makes his warrior priest weak. But you get the control anyway, so that's good.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And it's also important to mention with redeploy, you can do a little bit of mitigation by plopping something else if he tries to go really quickly aggro and mulch up a point. You can put something else in there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's kind of playing out like you'd expect. We got...
so you bolstered off your swordsman.
Yeah, but here's something that I didn't see coming.
Another archer.
Goes into the archer. Now, as I was talking about when he was gone, archer can cause problems with a unit like Bannerman, especially if there's a unit like War Priest in between, where it's going to be some sticky situations. But it's important to note that any other unit combined with Warrior Priest, you don't get the small bag effect. It's harder for you to replicate a Warrior Priest attack or control and knowing what you're going to get next.
Right.
So there's pros and cons to getting into two units when you have Warrior Priest.
But if you know that small bag Warrior Priest doesn't match up well to small bag Bannerman.
Yeah, you have to find something. Yeah. And again, that was one of the problems of the draft.
Yep. Wow. Bannerman hand. It's kind of a tough one, though, because you can't go into the archer's periphery very easily.
Yeah.
Well, you can move up twice, I suppose, but you don't want to do that. Do your scout work first. You bolster scout.
Yeah, so I really debated bolstering scout this whole time, and you'll see in the end why I didn't do it. Because redeploy is so awesome with scout, and Bannerman is best at just creating space. You move something, push it off, and suddenly there's this hole where you can redeploy. So, you can... I think it'd be totally fine if I would have bolstered off scout and gone complete small bag. But I really liked having that potential as a threat to redeploy.
Sure.
So I leave it open. But I thought about that every single time I drew scout. I thought about it.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you do with the scout chip, I guess. But I was going to just add, if you bolster scout, you can still redeploy it on a point, and it takes a while to dislodge a bolstered scout.
Unless it's a small bag warrior priest,
Yeah.
That's why it didn't, because usually if you were to drop it on a point, they take, like you said, if you drop a bolstered scout on a point or anywhere in the map, and it's going to take 3 times to kill it. So
what are you going to do here? Do you just move here? Because then if he moves either one up, you have counterplay. You have 2 chips now.
I think I bolster, if I remember correctly.
Oh, bolster.
Bolster is just kind of the delay, and I know for sure I'm going to get bolstered. I should say this.
You keep clicking on it.
I know.
You're like, scout, no. Oh, you just use a scout to recruit the last one.
No, yeah. So
stalling tactic.
Yep, stalling. The reason I did this, so when you're playing against Warrior Priest small bag, it's not useful to have a bolstered unit playing against it, because if it gets hit, it's dead. That's the law,
Yeah, I mean he's on a 5 bag right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if this was just small bag War Priest,
No, he's in a 7 bag.
yeah. Well, the start that they got.
Right.
But yeah, so if it was just Warrior Priest against Bannerman, both small bags, I wouldn't bolster Bannerman. You get the 3 chips. Mm-hmm. He still has to stay bolstered, but like I said, if Warrior Priest gets a hit off, which you're trying to avoid the whole time,
You get no value off the bolster, yeah.
yeah. So I do bolster here because he is not full small bag.
He bolsters. Yeah. He can take initiative. That's important.
He can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no gain in it now, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like with Warrior Priest, if you can take initiative against Warrior Priest, that's good.
Yeah.
You can approach and hit.
Yeah.
But he can take initiative, so you can approach and go infinite.
Yeah.
It's a big power for Warrior Priest. So you got to be really careful.
Yeah, that's one where you want to walk away. Just you got to just move your chip away.
He's slimming his bag down.
Yep.
Now you got your scout again. You're like, oh, do I bolster or
Every
not?
single time I dangle this scout and I think about it. I'm happy to bolster off the Herald. Herald is a great unit to bolster off, similar to Mercenary like he has. Mm-hmm. You can still use it when you use the coin. It doesn't affect your bag.
You just pass with the scout coin. Wow. That takes brass balls to do that.
Hey, the pass is where it's at.
You just keep your bag fat and do nothing with that coin. That takes discipline. A lesser person would have recruited some shit with it.
You'll see how many times I look at the scout and I'm just like, God, I don't know what I want to do with it, but I knew I wanted to have it.
He moves in. So this is a very bold move.
I want to talk about this. I think, I'd love to hear Azhawa talk about this. I think they thought I passed with Bannerman. Another strength of passing.
I mean, that's an insane read.
I mean, so think about this. Like, if I show a Bannerman control, which you're like, okay, I have a Bannerman chip, I'd probably control with it. If you do that, he knows that chip is gone. So maybe he's thinking, as a good player, I might pass the Bannerman, so he doesn't know for sure. Another strength of passing the scout, though. But I would love to hear Azhawa talk about exactly what they were thinking.
I mean, I would be shocked. Well, because you could have just passed with coin there. Like that's, you know what I mean. If you pass, that's coin.
Yeah.
Automatic. I have to think so many layers in to go. Maybe he's passing with Bannerman. Like first you pass with coin, then maybe you pass with scout. I mean, you can control. And you still, if that was your only Bannerman chip, then I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But you have 2.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very bold move.
I think it was, I don't want to say desperation, but I think it was knowing that it's putting me in a position where I have to, either attack or control, which I thought a lot about between those two.
Golly, I really hate this.
We can weigh the, but think about it.
I'm trying.
If I'm going to use the banner chip that I have, obviously. He's going to get a pot shot with the archer for sure if he wants it. You're going to have to kill the Bannerman to win this game, right? I don't hate this move so much because they are going to have to pressure my Bannerman somehow. And I know it looks bad, but how else do you do it? With the units that Azhawa has, how do you do it?
I'm thinking right now. Let's just say he passes with this Warrior Priest.
Okay.
And then now you control.
Then I got 5 points, and I got redeploy.
Yeah.
I feel like Azhawa understood that they were under pressure with the board state and needed to start.
So he's just sacrificing Warrior Priest in order to get a shot. I mean, the thing is, like, he'll get a shot with the archer anyway.
I mean, not necessarily.
Yeah, because you're gonna control.
Most likely. I mean, I could move towards the archer and push him towards Herald. I mean, there's things I thought about.
Well, yeah, but then if you move first, then it makes his move a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
Well, you have 2 Bannerman chips in your mix right now. Mm-hmm. Once you use one of them, then it's a lot less likely you have the other one. Yeah. So I mean, this is like, I guess if he's got double Warrior Priest in hand right now, passing with one seems really. You need brass balls for that pass. I
mean, it's just a really difficult situation to be in.
That's the equivalent. Passing with Warrior Priest in this situation is like laying down queens in poker.
So what would you have Azhawa do?
What would I have him do? I'm thinking. Recruit Mercenary and get on that point with the Warrior Priest chip is what I would suggest.
I think that's a fair answer. I will say throughout this game, I was really worried about the Merc over there.
Yeah.
I was very worried about that the whole game, and it never came into play. As we talked about, you want to keep Warrior Priest bags small. You want to keep all bags small. Mm-hmm. But I was surprised that never came into play.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, from your perspective, that would look like a coin being used, not a warrior priest chip. So you'd have to respect him for having, a warrior priest now and then one later. Right now, you almost know for sure he's got double warrior priest. And he's going to draw... He's got 2 in his bag.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I understand that he's not shooting me with Archer right now, so I'm guessing he has no Archer in the hand.
Yeah.
So, I assume that one of his 2 chips he's about to draw is Archer.
Anyway, so you hit. And he gets pushed back.
Well, I got to ask you about that, too. Do you like the control, or do you think I should have hit?
Oh, you didn't hit. You controlled.
Yeah. And I can explain why I did that, but I would like to hear your thoughts there. Because I did debate, should I attack or should I push?
No, I think that's interesting. I would have attacked, but I would have done it, like, automatically. I think it's much more thoughtful to control, and I'll say, first off, now you have 5 points, and that's important. You have 5 points to redeploy.
Yep.
You're one mistake, his mistake away from winning. Or no mistake. You're just, So I think that's something, because you can easily just move your guy up and then deploy. That's good. Also, the hitting is less important because reinforces here.
Yep.
So you can hit him, and that's making progress, but he'll just reinforce it, and the game is too far along where that's going to really, like, attrition's going to play out.
Yeah.
So you're right. I would have hit. I think your move is better, so that's why you're the champ.
And I'm looking at this game state, and my goal in this, as I'm looking at it, is not to kill Warrior Priest.
Yeah.
And that's the whole Bannerman versus Warrior Priest matchup for me. You're not trying to find a unit like, if you have a Pikeman versus Berserker, you're trying to kill Berserker with the Pikeman. There are units, same thing with Pikeman versus Warrior Priest. You're trying to kill the Warrior Priest with the Pikeman. That's what you're trying to do. You're not trying to outrace them. You're not trying to anything. When I have Bannerman versus Warrior Priest, I'm not trying to kill them at all. I'm just trying to completely nullify them so they can't do anything.
So he's got a Warrior Priest chip now, which now seems so bad. I guess he'll have to go here to cover up this spot. I mean, he's not going to attack again. He's going to draw... He might not even draw Warrior Priest again.
We'll see.
Interesting. He just moves right up. I mean...
What else are you going to do?
Move right here.
But why?
I don't know. You won't get hit. I guess you're not going to hit him anyway. I don't know. I guess this seems just like you're guaranteed to draw Bannerman.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
But I have to use the Bannerman ship now to get the War Priest away.
Once again, I'd recommend
passing
mercenary doing something.
Yeah. I think that's still a viable option. Again, Azhawa, if you're listening, would love to hear your thoughts. I think that could have put a lot of pressure on me on that side. But I think these frustrating plays by Azhawa really speak to the futility of trying to get into Warrior Priest Bannerman. But this is a situation where I'm in a little bit of pickle.
Because now you're gonna get hit by an archer.
I'm gonna get hit. I know he's drawing the archer here for sure.
Yep.
Could have drawn 2.
Yep.
It's possible that they could have drawn 2. I think I'm knowing that it's possible I lose my Bannerman here. I have a very tough decision to make here.
Bolster scout or not?
Well, that's the choice always. But so I mean, you want to bring out the arrows? So obviously I can attack Bannerman, push away, potentially just get double shot by Archer. I also thought of walking up left, pushing Warrior Priest away to either of those, and then knowing that at least one of their Archer chips is not going to hurt me. Maybe both Archer chips, but he could have drawn 2 Warrior Priests here. If that was true, he could have walked Warrior Priest in and then potentially wiped me out. So either way, whether I attack and push or I move and push, I'm potentially losing my Bannerman either way. So I thought I might as well just cause a little damage.
Now you make the attack.
Now I make attack.
Oh.
Well, I think about a lot of things. I thought about this too, because I'm like, maybe I can redeploy the scout over there,
Archer's there, though.
Yeah.
Straight back. Makes sense. Okay. Now he is going to shoot. Boom.
Boom.
Now you're like, is he going to shoot again? But now you don't have a Bannerman now.
Yeah, so I'm kind of at the whim of the draw here. I might lose my Bannerman. I still have that scout that I don't know what I'm going to do with. But this is where I like Herald. We talk about Herald's usefulness.
Yeah. I'm thinking about if you could redeploy your Bannerman.
I could.
Back.
I thought. So yeah, I mean, I thought about redeploying, like Alex said, right next to my swordsman. I would need to keep him on that side of the field. Bring him over to the left is useless, so that's really the only place I'd want to. But at this point, I'm also not that worried about losing the second one.
You could just you could just reinforce with the coin too.
Yep. And I believe that's exactly what I do.
Think about your scout. You go and herald a little bit. You're like, okay.
So I pop into Herald.
So now Azhawa basically knows you don't have a bannerman
Yes.
in hand. So he can, if he's got double warrior priest, he can just charge.
Yep.
Interesting. Doesn't just charge.
So I do what you talked about earlier here. And this was a really difficult choice for me too. And I'll talk about it as you see it unfold. So I do reinforce the bannerman. I put pressure on the archer now. Mm-hmm. And I'm terrified of that mercenary potentially going for my point. Mm-hmm. I understood that Azhawa would probably not worry about taking their own point there.
He reinforces.
Because it's just not, there's too much pressure on him to try to take his own point right now. Mm-hmm. And I thought in a real pinch, if he tries to apply the pressure, I could either redeploy Herald and try to fight the warrior priest pretty well, or even redeploy swordsman and keep the pressure on.
Okay.
So I really thought that that's where this match would go right now, that mercenary would start getting involved in putting pressure on that point. Mm-hmm. And I had the redeploy in my back pocket to defensively use it, but I really, really, really wanted to offensively use this. And here is a situation where I was able to finally get the payoff for having Scout not bolstered off this whole time. So if you want, I don't know if you see it, if you want to talk about it. Otherwise, we can just do it as it plays out. Got some dead air.
I'm thinking about it.
No, that's fine.
So
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Well, no, I mean this is a lot of interesting stuff happening because your chips are very active. So you can move Bannerman up and push him away.
It's also worth mentioning here that did not take initiative, Azhawa.
Yep.
Could have certainly killed my my Bannerman.
Yeah. I guess when you're behind 5, when you're at 5 points, the initiative give up is very heavy.
Again, just the pressure that I put on early game, and with the bad draw that Azhawa had, was always having them on the back foot.
Well, this seems kind of like obvious. You save your Bannerman, you get this guy back, and now you can redeploy. Well, I forgot what order this happens in. You redeploy first and then attack with Herald, right? So once your banner's here, you can redeploy Scout here, and you get the hit here, and now and then the Scout ship is active for the win.
Yeah.
It was very insane.
Yeah.
And the Archer's dead, so I mean that's really good.
Yeah.
flow.
So this was, I saw this. This was my dream. This is why I was trying to keep the Scout open.
This is a puzzle. This is like a puzzle. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this.
Oh, didn't you say that you hate?
I did say I hate them, but this is a good
you hate
one.
chess puzzles and war chess puzzles.
I mean, I didn't say I hated war chess puzzles.
Okay.
I hate chess puzzles, but some people like them, right?
Yeah,
And why not? Why not for the content? I think this is a pretty cool puzzle, actually. How do you, set up the best spot here?
Yeah.
All right, so here you go. Move up, push back. Okay, now what's Azhawa do?
So there's only one way. What I thought was going to happen, and I've never checked Azawa's hand. I was worried about the redeploy here. Redeploy Ensign, maybe, to block. Because that shuts me down. Mercenary, if he does that, I think I just was able to take.
Sure.
So I was expecting...
He could also bolster Archer if he's got double Archer hand. Because then he would survive the attack, he could kill the Scout.
Right.
If you read the situation exactly the same.
So, again, I haven't looked at the hand. I was fearing a redeploy. That's what I was fearing the most. I mean, not like fearing, but that would have shut me down. Mm-hmm. And yeah, redeploying with Merc would be really dangerous because it'd be able to chop up my Bannerman. But again, I feel like I might have been able to get to the left point then.
I mean, moving Warrior Priest... Oh, he doesn't have 2 Warrior Priests anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 1 Warrior Priest. He's got 2 Archer chips and a coin. So yeah, I mean, redeploy Mercenary would be really good here, because then you can just kill your dude.
Yeah, and he doesn't. I mean, again, they don't know my hand. I could have.
Yeah, but you still deploy Mercenary because then you could still march him in.
Yeah, it'd start putting a lot of pressure.
I wonder what he's gonna do. Control.
And that's when the control happened. It was GG. I think I said it shortly afterwards because there's no more plays here. But I would be curious to see the hand or to see what the thoughts were from Azhawa, again, if you're listening. But here's what I've been holding up Scout for the whole time.
Redeploy.
So you redeploy on the point. I get the kill.
Boom.
There's no threats.
And now you just control with your next
And then I guess control and there's
what
nothing.
What does he do? I'm curious.
I mean, it's Like I said, we were both talking, I think, about GG at this point.
But. I mean, I think if this is Archer, then a bolster here would have been.
And if it's coin,
good. If it's coin, then a redeploy for sure. I mean, yeah, a redeploy mercenary over here would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Even if you had Bannerman, he can knock you back, but you could just recruit and hit him, and then you still have a pretty active warrior priest going. I mean, you're kind of hurt here, but
yeah.
Interesting finish. I think that maybe Azhawa kind of was too beaten down at that point to think of these plays. But
yeah. Definitely some bad luck from Azhawa, especially with the beginning, and just a really tough draft. But
yeah, well, that it sounds like you did your due diligence in that game, and it played out just like you wanted.
I mean, like I said, I was saving the scout for this moment the whole time. It's what I wanted to try to do.
I love that scout. That scout paid dividends.
And again, the synergy between Bannerman pushing people off of points and Scout being able to drop down, especially if it's an Archer, like if I push an Archer off knowing they can't hit me right back and dropping down the redeploy, it's like...
You had the discipline to not bolster that Scout for
it,
two full bags.
I dangled it.
It's tremendous. I mean, that's... I'm on record, and Noah's on record saying bolster things off and go small bag, and here you are just really... carrying this anchor with you for such a long time, planning for this.
Yeah.
And like knowing that this situation will come up where I'm going to go scout control with a redeploy. And that's a great lesson, that redeploy surprise. If your hand is coin scout, you can do some pretty surprising takedowns with that. And that this is, case in point right here.
Like I said, I value scout with redeploy really highly. Really, really highly. I think it's one of the best combos in the game, up there with like mercenary and list. Because it's just so devastating. As you can see.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I'm just thinking, like, if your scout was bolstered here, and you redeployed it still, but now it's a two bar scout there. Mm-hmm. Your hand wouldn't have been scout, obviously. Your hand would have been either Herald or Bannerman. In the same situation, let's say instead of controlling that scout, this is a 2 scout sitting there, and your hand is Bannerman.
Yeah.
Well, if it's Bannerman, you knock this one back. And you still probably win. If it's Herald, you move him up here.
Well, Herald, yeah, there'd still be an Archer there, but yeah, I mean...
No, there wouldn't be an Archer there, because you still did the redeploy.
Who did I redeploy then?
It's a 2 scout.
Oh, you're saying if I still did the scout, but it's bolstered.
Yeah,
okay,
would it still be... Like, you did the surprise sneak win.
Yeah,
but,
I see what you're saying.
But if it was a 2 stack, you still would have won, I think. So...
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'd just have to recruit the scout and then get the scout drawn again. And I was never running, the tiniest of bags. I do not run complete small bag as much as a lot of other top players. That's for certain.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is you don't need to control the scout.
I understand.
Yeah, the scout's here.
I just need to protect it. I get it.
Your hand, like your position would be with a smaller bag with these 2 units active would be so insane here.
Yeah.
Because Bannerman just covers this.
Yeah.
You can move on here.
Bannerman is so good.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm not devaluing the play. I'm just saying, like, what if I was playing this game, I would have bolstered the scout the first time. Mm-hmm. What would that have done to the game? And, like, would you have, I mean, obviously your bag would have been faster anyway. But you made some good recruits with that scout. You passed with it twice, and you recruited with it once, I think, is from memory.
I know I recruited a Herald with it. I know I passed for it for sure. I don't remember the 3rd time through. Might have been a pass.
I think you passed twice.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I mean, good job. Congratulations on your win. Nice to see those American flags in the the champ.
But yeah, either if you want to either put that on the video or show just show the text. The importance of drafting. Like I said, I can't state enough how much I think drafting should be thought about, talked about, and explored, because I feel like it's about half the time where you win or lose the match. When you're playing people that are equally skilled as you, there's less chance of these weird creative plays. Sometimes with the decrees you can get into them, like we just kind of explored here. But a lot of time it's just about min-maxing the units you got and making plays that people expect. So you have a lot of, I guess, parity when you're playing a game against a really good player. I feel like one area where it's not as easy to play out your hand, so to speak, is when you're drafting. I feel like that's someplace you can really own your skills.
Sure, yeah. it's nice to see. It's refreshing to see in this game. Not a lot of small bag. I mean, you both kind of try to go small bag, but neither of you got there.
Yeah. As I was saying, I honestly, I mean, there are definitely plenty of times that I do it, but I think I don't do it nearly as much as a lot of people around my ranking, and it's something that I might need to work on doing more. But I don't know. I don't. It's not my style, I guess.
Don't do it more. I think it's nice to know there's a variety of styles possible to be successful, and you can like different units a lot. You know, you can like different units more than others and lean into them.
Yeah,
and I think that's great. That's what makes the game special and good. So yeah. All right, thanks for coming.
Thanks so much, guys.
Give us some love,
yeah.
And we'll keep producing these vids.
Yeah, and keep sending links over if you got games we want to review. We're gonna keep probably taking down some Raccoon Cup finals or maybe semifinals, some prominent matchups between prominent players. But we want to see the good videos that you know about, the good matchups that you played in, that you had a friend play in, or anything like that. So please send them over.
Yeah. All right.